here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am taking the time to introduce to you my JBM mentorship team that is graduating this 2020. And today we're going to sit down with Marissa Medin. She is a clairvoyant medium and she communicates with those who've passed on through the process of automatic writing. And she creates these beautiful letters from your loved ones, from your spirit guides, and it's all written out. You get it 3D, the letter folded up. You get to unroll it, right? Or an email. Marissa's going to tell me which way it comes. But I always imagine when she talks about the letters that that's exactly the way it is. Let's not let me wander on and bring her up now so that we can talk about it. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Jamie.
Okay, tell me right away. Is it
right away.
a real letter or is it an email letter?
It's emailed too. I know I think about letters that are like mailed, but no, they're just, it's written out as if it was like a letter you'd receive back in the day by like, but no, then they're typed out and sent via email. So you get them right away.
I love it either way because I can see it from my email and just hold on to it. There's something really unique about having something very tangible and physical from something so ethereal.
Yeah. And people can print them out and then you have that piece of paper to save and people read them. They go back and read them, which is really cool and different than just the way you'd kind of speak in a session. So they're really special.
I would completely scrapbook that.
Yeah, I love that.
Big time. I have so many questions.
Let's get into it.
I don't want to dive into it yet because I want you to talk a little bit about you so that we can get to know you more.
Yes.
I would really appreciate if you can share a little bit of backstory. Did you grow up, sensitive, energy centric? Was that the belief system in your family? And how did you find your way into producing these letters out of you?
Yeah, I love to share because it was a total surprise to me. And there was some history in my family a little bit, but other than that, it wasn't something I'd always done. I didn't start to kind of experience till the age of, 28, 29 years old. But my mother was always really interested. She's here watching today. But growing up, she would always talk about past lives and spirits and things like that. So yeah, it was always kind of a part of my belief system. I believed that other people could do this work, but I never did. And then, Jamie, actually, a lot of how this all kind of started was because of you. Probably, I want to say it was 8-9 years ago now. I went to my first session with a medium, and that medium was Jamie, with my mother to communicate with my grandfather who had passed on. And that was really the moment where I was like, whoa, this is real. Jamie is speaking from my grandfather. These messages are real. And that was when I really, really started believing. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I actually started channeling myself just through journaling. I was just reading a lot about it, going to a lot of Jamie's channeling sessions, listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks and things like that. And I just became really fascinated by it all. But really, it was more of just I wanted to learn about it and learn about law of attraction and manifestation and energy and all of that. And then through my journaling, just through writing, I accidentally wrote a letter, like in words, was typing out from, it was my friend's cousin who had committed suicide. He had passed away and it was the 1-year anniversary. And just these words came out from him to her. And that was the first time this happened. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? The second time it was from my grandfather to my mom. And then she shared with some of her friends and somebody asked me to do a letter for her daughter, for a friend of hers who had passed on. And that was the first time I actually really tested it. I was like, I don't know if I can do it as long as she knows. I don't know what come out. I don't know if I can do it on command. I don't know if it will be accurate. And I tried it. And that was the moment where she just wrote back and said, thank you. I don't know how you knew all this information. This is the closure I needed that I, hadn't had. And that was the moment I was like, I need to keep doing this and I want to practice and learn and keep going. So that was kind of how it all started.
I'm having a good time on the chat thread with everyone.
With my mom, you guys chatting. See?
I wrote in there, hi, Mom. I didn't really know that the root of it was with the session with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was neat because I believed it all. As my mother did all these things, I was like, I believe that that's true. But that session with you was really the first time where I had personally experienced that. And it was really powerful.
I love your parents, both of
They're
them.
the best.
I think they're wonderful. If they ever need to adopt anybody else, I will put myself up for that
We'll take you
adoption.
in. They are wonderful.
And my favorite thing you said is that it was by accident. You're
Totally
like,
by
"Oh, it's
accident.
by accident," and it came out like your whole career is based on this one little.
Yeah. I never could have known. And it's funny looking back because I was a very typical, like, straight A student. I went to business school, got a corporate job, worked in marketing. I was very, like, type A, totally, like, on the regular path. And if you had told me 6, 7 years ago that I would be traveling the world writing letters from people who have passed on as my living, I would have thought that you were insane. And here we are. So I've just kind of been following this path as it's unfolded, and it's been a lot of fun.
You just said that you travel the world. Where are you right now?
So I'm in Mexico right now. It's one of the only kind of, with COVID, places that Americans can be at the moment. There's a few other countries, but I made a lot of friends traveling around the world, and kind of everybody's here. We're in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So I'm here for a little bit longer. I've been here a couple months, but yeah, typically I'm in a different country every month and traveling around.
So when you do the letters from loved ones,
Yeah.
how does that work if you're not stationed in one place?
Yeah, so all of my letters work. I do it all remotely. So the way that it works is people go to my website, they submit a photo of the loved one who's passed on, and I just love to see the photos. It helps me just kind of, I don't have to have it, but I love to connect to the energy and feel like I know it's the right person, if that makes sense. And then
Yeah.
they just submit a list of questions. And something I actually learned from going to your channeling sessions for years, you always had us, when we ask questions, say, the power of your answers are in the power of the question. And so that's something I really took to heart with my letters as well. So I have people submit and say, you can say, like, how are you doing? And you're going to get an answer. But if you say, do you know I was there when you passed on? Or do you have any advice for me now? Or, are you watching over so-and-so? I have them submit up to 5 questions typically at a time. And I don't talk to people. And I think that some people find that strange. And I know before I started doing this, I was like, okay, this is crazy anyway, but how would you do that if you're not even with me or seeing me? But I actually think there's a power to it, because so many people who are skeptical always think, like, oh, you're just reading what I'm saying, and then you're kind of building off of that. And there's something really powerful. Like, I don't speak, I get the photo, I get the questions, and I just start writing. And it's usually 10, 11, 12 pages of writing. Like, they're really long.
What?
And yeah, I write for almost an hour typically, for people, and it all comes out. So I used to joke with my traveling friends, because all of us work remotely. I used to do other kind of remote coaching sessions over the phone and other businesses online. And I wanted to be remote because travel is my passion. And I joked, I was like, of course, my mediumship would work in a way that's remote too. It's really beautiful. So I don't know if it happened that way because of that, but yeah, it's really beautiful gift remotely. And I connect with people afterwards if they want sometimes to do phone sessions. And I record a video to explain more of the things that came through as I was writing and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all remote.
Oh, wait. You record a video to explain more. How is that delivered?
Yeah, so I use just a little software I have on my computer that will record my screen and like a little bubble of me at the same time. So after I've written the whole letter, and that's the way for me that the mediumship works best. Like, I can kind of speak things, but it's not my jam the way you do right now. Maybe, that's kind of evolving a little bit. But for me, it's just through writing. So it doesn't help me necessarily to be present with the person. I'm like, give me what you want to ask and let me go away and just write. Like, that's how it comes. But then afterwards, a lot of it's kind of interpretation, and I kind of see visions and I feel more. So when I read the letters afterwards, sometimes there's little bits where I want to explain more about what I was seeing or hearing or feeling, or just kind of, I also do a lot, I do coaching as well. So the coach in me wants to kind of like explain and help and talk through that. So after the whole letter is written, a lot of times I'll record a video reading through and say, this part, here's what I really felt when I was reading, when this came out, and I'll kind of send both of those.
That is so neat. I had no idea the tiny video went with it.
Yeah.
It makes me
Yeah.
love this even more. But I thoroughly love the concept of the letter because I haven't
The
come
letters are
across it,
beautiful.
yeah, with
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's something that I think is very niche and very
Yeah.
wonderful, especially if you can submit that photograph and ask questions
Yeah.
specifically for that person. Like I
Yes.
could offer that as a gift to somebody else, maybe who didn't want to
Yeah.
go to see a medium or
Yeah.
is interested, but like, please don't make me follow through.
Yeah.
Because
People
maybe
don't
I'm
want to go.
still, yeah, maybe I'm still, grieving or injured, or I'm an
Yeah.
introvert, or I'm just terrified. And it's weird. It is
Yeah.
weird. Our work is proudly
It's
weird.
weird. I'm embracing the weird, but yeah, the letters are neat because I know a lot of, I've been to you as a medium, I've been to psychics and things like that. And a lot of times, we'll like record the session, but I feel like I'm always so present and so in awe of the things, you're saying or someone else was saying, back before I started doing this myself, that I couldn't even really focus. And I left and I was like, what did they say? Like, what was that really important thing? And so the letters are really neat because people often tell me they sit and they read them and they just are sitting there like sobbing, reading it. Often people tell me they'll read it 10, 11, 12 times like to start. And then they're like, I took a break and now I'm reading again. And then they'll write to me and tell me because they're like, okay, I've had time to take it in. But it's usually happy tears too. They're not, I know a lot of people are scared of what they might hear and things like that. And they're always so loving. So yeah, it's a really neat process.
We had, oh my gosh, of course, I kind of just lost it. But somebody was teasing and asked, when do you think Spirit is going to get email?
That was a good question. Through me now. Very
And
soon.
Dolly says, hey peeps, I'm chat newbie. Yay!
Aw.
Welcome. Hello, Illumination.
Hello.
Paul L. says it's so cool that different gifted people connect with the other side and serve the greater community. Like
Yeah.
just seeing the difference. Oh, is Peace Modder asked, when will Spirit get email?
I love that question. spirit@gmail.com.
Lynn M. says, Marissa, that is so cool what you're doing. How incredibly healing for those that you write letters for. Thank you for putting yourself out there and God bless you.
It's a scary thing to
It
go out there.
can be a very scary thing. And Michael Bathurst is even asking, what was your faith or beliefs? Was your faith or beliefs challenged when developing your connection to spirit?
It wasn't for me. And I think I mentioned at the very beginning, my mother, who is here in the chat and watching, had always believed in this sort of stuff. So it's really funny. Like in our mentorship, a lot of people, we have a chat going where they're like, I just told my parents today, and they're like coming out to that. Like it was always a part of my life through my mom here, who always would talk about past lives or spirits in the rooms. And she was the one who took me to Jamie for the first time. So I'm not very religious. So for me, I'm just pretty much an open book, and I continue to be open. So when new ideas come my way, or I learn, I don't know, new methods or beliefs or facts that challenge what I know, I like to kind of go with the flow and learn with that. So yeah, it's a little bit different for me because I feel like I just kind of ease into it as I've grown up.
So Oriel is asking just for clarity. So Marissa's gift is kind of automatic writing, but connected to a specific spirit. Like you
Yeah.
can dial it in.
Yeah, exactly. So it started for me, the automatic writing started channeling for me. I was just journaling, kind of was going through a hard time, and I had left a relationship. I moved, I quit my job, I started a business, all the things. I was just journaling for my own emotions, and I started accidentally channeling just kind of spirit guides and things like that through my writing was how it started. And then it evolved into doing these letters from specific people. So now if you have someone specific who has passed on, and I'm still like baffled every time. I'm like, how has this one person always come through when they need? And so far it hasn't not happened. So maybe that will happen one day. But yeah, so far it's like if you have a specific person that you want to hear from and ask questions to, the letter comes out. It really feels as if like they were in another country or like across the country and just wrote you like a snail mail letter of like, dear Michael, like, here's my thoughts on what you're doing. Like, here's what, all of that. And it's really like a specific letter to you that's pages and pages and pages long. So yeah, it's still bizarre to me, but that's how it works.
Katie P says, I'm fascinated. And I think
Yeah.
you kind of answered it, because she was asking, so what's it like writing the letters? Is it more like channeling where it flows through you, or is it more like a conversation? And you just had a great explanation for that. It's like you knew what we were about to ask.
Just happens to know. But yeah, it just flows through. And it's funny to me. Sometimes I'm almost kind of like half conscious, half not, where I have to reread them afterwards because I don't fully know everything that was written. But I kind of have an idea. And it feels like I'm just typing like a fake novel where the words are just coming out of me. And
Yes.
I'm like, what? Like, these aren't my thoughts. Why would I say, and I don't know what they mean either. I think I like to explain it as it almost feels like an inside joke. It's like, if someone's speaking English, it's like, you can understand what they're saying, but you don't know what they're talking about. And for me, as I write this stuff, I'm like, what does this mean? Like, what are you talking about for the most part? And then it's so fun to hear back from people afterwards. Like, this was so meaningful because of this. And here's what this meant. I'm like, got it. It's really cool.
Rika's even asking a great question that I was going to ask as well. So we're on the same page there. Can you be in touch with a spirit guide? Because I don't necessarily have a picture of a spirit guide, but
Yeah.
maybe I can give you a question, or maybe I can't. What is the photograph necessary? Go for it.
It's not necessary. And even with the pictures that I have people submit for someone who's passed on, it's not 100% necessary. It's just something that I, as in like me and Marissa, likes to see before. Because I'm like, oh, I just feel like I kind of connect, but it can be done without it. So for the spirit guides, I also do letters from kind of spirit guides, people's higher self, intuition, whatever you want to call that. For people who maybe don't have questions for someone specific who's passed on, but they want to know advice for their own life. And the writing comes out in the same way of just this advice that kind of comes through and answers any questions that you have.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that you have a little bit of a sample of a session. Is it something that you would give me permission to read, or would you like to read it?
Yeah, either way, I can read it, or if you want to.
I would love for you to read it, so that we
it's
can
powerful.
hear how you connect to the material. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, they're like, okay, I kind of get what's going on. I hear you're writing these letters, but what is it like? And we'll share a link afterwards where you can read a sample of a full, I don't know, it's probably 10 or 11 page letter that I wrote for someone. But I thought it would be meaningful just to kind of read a bit of a question that someone asked. So this was just one paragraph of pages of a letter for someone that I did. I don't know, it might have been a while ago. So the question that the person asked was, it was for his grandfather. And he said, "Are you upset that I didn't come to see you right before you passed?" So the answer that came through, and again, this was just one little paragraph, a lot of it. He said, "Absolutely not. And in truth, as I just said above, I didn't want you to come. I didn't want you to see me that way, to know how sick I was or how hard it was physically." He said, "Mentally, I was ready and it was easy. It's not that I didn't want to see you. I always want to see you. I love you, my dear. So please, please don't take it like that. I think you felt the fear inside of you that it was my time soon. And you also were afraid. You didn't know how to confront me, to see me one last time. And so rather than saying goodbyes, we were both a bit cowardice, I suppose. It was easier just to pretend that things were normal, that we'd see each other soon, even though we both knew that soon was never coming." It's like, makes me want to cry again. He said, "And that is okay. Please feel no guilt about this. If you feel guilt, then I should feel guilt too. I could have called. I could have told you to come, the same way you knew I knew too. And it was our unspoken word to each other that it could be easier," it's like literally gonna make me cry, "not to say goodbye, to appreciate the times that we did have together, the healthy, easy, fun times. Those are the times that I want you to remember." So that was the bit that I will read.
Oh my God, that is so sweet.
Yeah, they're so so sweet. And those are the types of questions that people ask. It's that you're wondering about, right? And I think the reason I keep doing this, at first I was like, I'm so scared. Like, what if these aren't real? What if they're not accurate? But then these things come through and they're so meaningful to people, and they answer these questions and give this closure that they could never have. Like that big question of like, did you know that I was there? Or did you know why I wasn't there? Where are you now? Those kinds of things.
How did you get over that hump and trusting what you were writing?
Oh, it was hard, but I'm just laughing now in the chat. My mom said, okay, I'm crying. Whenever I cry, she cries. How did I get over that? To start, it was really scary when I started doing this as an actual service. When I was kind of practicing in the beginning, when this first started happening, I kind of went to some of my mom's friends who were open to all the spiritual kind of stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of test it out with people who I didn't know, I had never met in real life, like before they passed, so that I knew I wasn't making things up. So I went to maybe like 5 of her friends and just said, like, do you have a parent or someone who's passed on? And I practiced like that. And to me, that wasn't as scary because I was like, all right, if it's not accurate, I wasn't charging. This was just trying things, and they know that. But every one of them was like, I'm crying. This is amazing. I don't know how you did this. I don't thank you. So really for me, I mean, every time I still have that fear. And that was a lot of why I did this mentorship with you, was to kind of learn how to move past that. And I think I'm realizing that that's never going to go away. And the reason I keep doing it, I get goosebumps, is because of the gift that it gives to people and the feedback. Every time someone writes back and is like, I can't believe, thank you, I needed this, so on and so on. That's why I keep doing it. But I don't know, it's still scary. It's still hard.
Bringing tears to my eyes. Straighten up. It's true.
We're all just going to be crying. Oh, gosh.
I am a professional interviewer. This is not happening.
Yeah.
That really resonates with me. Obviously, you can tell. I mean, it's why you do the work. It's how it influences somebody else and how it could possibly just change somebody's life in an instant. But, 30 years into this, I still get nervous, and I still wonder the words that I'm hearing. Is this right? Is this good? Is this the best? Like, am I making this up? What in the world?
Yes.
And you would think after all that time that you could just settle into that this is what it is. But it goes so much against who we are as people in 3D.
Yeah.
Which it's so nice that we're coming out of this 3D.
I know. Out of the closet.
Yeah. We're coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
That's super nice. It's going to get lighter and easier. But I was going to say it gets easier, but I don't know if it really does. And I'm just so happy that, you are putting yourself out there that way.
Yeah.
And that you are willing to put your face to it and to produce the channeling. Yeah. It's needed for us. And
I think all the people who came before me, like, really to have you, you were really the one person who I knew who really did this. And then again, I would follow the Abraham Hicks and Seth Speaks and, other books and things that have been written. But I mean, you were a really big help for me to hear that you still felt that way too. And I was like, okay, if you're doing this and I've had the real experiences with you and you've been doing this for so many years. And I was like, okay, if you still feel this way, that means I can still feel this way and still do it. And that gave me the courage to be here today doing this. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you. I also know that you have been so gracious. You are running a special for the Luminaires.
Yeah.
And I would love to show that to them.
Perfect.
You have a 15% off, and it's not showing up. There we are. 15% off the letters from Spirit.
Yeah.
And that will show up in the thread here, but I'll also double post the link so that you have that. But it is on her website at marissamedium.com, which is so cute because it's so close to your name.
I know. Marissa Meta and Miss Medium. I was like, I feel like this was meant to be.
Isn't that awesome? It's so cute.
Yeah. And the discount, I'll say there, it's Marissa. My name is Marisa, medium.com. And if you do /JBM, that will take you to get this special discount code. So you can go to the website anytime, marissamedium.com. But /JBM at the end will give you the 15% discount, special only for followers of Jamie.
Yay. Sandy Tatham is saying, this is lovely. Like, thank you. Ooh, this is lovely. Thank you. I do exactly the same kind of mediumship as Marissa.
Oh, amazing. Through writing.
Yes. dictation
Love it.
from the spirit world and answer people's questions.
So cool.
We need more of this. B says, very cool, Marissa. I'm so glad you're sharing this special gift with the world. Keep on going. Keep going.
Oh, thank you.
Dolly says, goosebumps are great.
Get all the goosebumps. When things feel really true, I just get all these goosebumps on my arms.
Katie P wants to know, do you still journal or you find it hard to do that without going into automatic writing?
Ooh, yeah. So I still, I do all my journaling online because I travel and don't have a physical one anymore. But when I write, I can choose which kind of way I want to do. And sometimes the channeling just comes through when I'm like, I just want to write for myself. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But typically I start out just journaling the same way anyone would for myself. And then about halfway through, it's like, okay, you've done enough. Like we're coming in now. And it like switches, and then does kind of the channeling so it's like, I get my own stuff and then it's kind of like personal advice on top of it with the channeling.
So I know there's something you haven't mentioned about yourself that I know about you.
I don't know what this is.
You did mention life coaching. You do intuitive coaching.
Yeah.
And we know that your letters from loved ones are there. But you do another little special gift. Are you going to still continue with that line of work? Rhymes with past life regression?
Yeah, I do those as well. The past life regressions are really fun. They're super powerful. So yeah, I do coaching sessions, I do the medium letters, and then yeah, I do past life regressions as well, which are some really, to me, it's another tool to really help heal and move past those things that I myself as well. Like we all kind of, when you feel stuck and you're like, I just can't get past it. Like those are really cool sessions to do.
With past life regressions, I know you don't do them frequent, but when you do them, are they in person or are you also able to do those in a remote
Those
setting?
are also can be done remote. So I have done a lot of them in person, but I also do a lot of them remotely as well. And so the letters, I don't have to speak with anybody to do those, but the past life regressions, like we're there live and it's, they take like up to 3 hours. So they're a lot of time and we talk first and kind of get the background and what you're feeling stuck with and kind of just a lot of parts of your life. And then it's kind of an hour and a half or 2 hours where you're in that past life regression. So that can be done audio only or just like on Zoom, things like that. So those are just as powerful remotely too.
I love that all three of these things that you do, you have to really master the concept of boundaries.
Yeah.
And one, right, with your intuitive coaching, you're probably educating people on those boundaries while you're maintaining them yourself. Same with, hypnotherapy. You have to really be buttoned up and be able to guide someone very specifically to, an experience.
Yeah.
And then with communicating to spirit, you have to have it as well. So I was wondering, could you take a little time and share with us, how do you maintain those boundaries? Do you have a go-to phrase or ritual, a thing, or is it just, you're just exuding it?
I would say more of the exuding. I love that. More of the latter. So for me, I feel kind of lucky that this all kind of started happening slowly over time. So before I started channeling, before I learned I was a medium, I found out that I was an empath. And obviously I've been an empath my whole life, but I just assumed it was how everyone in the world operated. And it wasn't until my late 20s, I was talking to, it was a massage therapist actually. And I don't know, we were talking about, just feeling people's feelings and things like that. And I was like, yeah, like when I walk in a room, I can be like, this is what this person's feeling, that's what that person's feeling, and that's what that person's feeling. She's like, oh, you're an empath. And I didn't even know what that was or that everyone in the world couldn't and didn't do that. And that was kind of the moment where I realized I need to start separating myself from other people because I can take on other people's emotions. So before I even started channeling or communicating with people who had passed on, I feel lucky that I had started putting those boundaries on myself, just with people's emotions to try to keep that at bay. So really it's just a practice for me to know, like, what is mine? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? And what is from someone else? And so when I write the letters, for example, I like to get kind of in a quiet room, in a quiet space, and just shut my eyes for, maybe a couple minutes and meditate and just kind of get in that zone for that. And then afterwards, there's really not a particular thing that I say or do. I just feel like it's almost feel like as if I played a soccer game. Like I'm exhausted. I just need to like lie down, close my eyes and just kind of let that moment pass. So yeah, it's more of just like a lot of breathing, kind of a meditative, and just taking like purposeful breaks before and after. But then just in day-to-day life, it's really about just knowing my own boundaries and feeling what's mine and what's others, and realizing I can have something go through me and leave and not hold on to it.
Yeah, it's like a conscious intent. And it's the way
Yes.
that you believe in how the energy works with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Hey, are you down for like taking a question here from
Yeah.
Jay?
I love
Just
questions.
interested in this. He said, for either of you, but I'd like to put this on you. Any
Okay.
advice on how to handle being asked to do something I really don't want to do?
Yeah, I just had a coaching call. I talked about them with a client for like an hour yesterday. So it
Okay.
depends on the situation and it depends who it is. But yeah, I think a lot of that is a deeper level of having to be okay of setting your own bound, first and foremost, saying, I'm okay doing what's right for me if it upsets this other person. That was the biggest lesson that I had to learn, where I could put myself first and not feel guilty about it. And again, as an empath, I'm like, I feel like this person is sad or they're mad or they're upset or, wanted this sort of thing. So that's step one, is getting okay with that. And then, as we talked a lot about in our mentorship with nonviolent communication, there's definitely ways to communicate that better. What I talked with my client about yesterday, so it's top of mind. I don't know if anyone follows Brene Brown, but she talks about, there's a phrase she said, the story I tell myself is. So a lot of times we make up these stories in our head of like, this other person's going to care if I don't do X, Y, or Z, and they're going to feel this way if I do X, Y, or Z. So sometimes just having that conversation with them and saying, look, the story I have in my head is that if I don't go do this thing, you're going to feel this or think this. Like, is that even the case? And if so, I want you to know it's not because I don't care about you or love you or whatever. It's like, this is just something I know I need to do for me so I can show up better in the long term. So that's kind of a couple pieces of advice. I don't know if you have anything to add, Jamie.
I love that. Yeah, one of my go-tos now after studying nonviolent communication going on 5, 6 years, no
Yeah.
more, something like that, is to just flat out say what my feelings are. If somebody asks me to do something, which actually I went through this week, and I looked at my friend and I said, I am so nervous and I'm really uncomfortable and I feel like, and I listed my feelings around the situation. And I said, here's really what I want for myself. And I'm so worried that if I don't put your priority or do what you need first, that our friendship isn't going to be healthy. And my friend started laughing, which was really uncomfortable, by the way, but it was a happy laughter of, oh my gosh, no, we're totally on the same page. And we had no idea. And it
Yeah.
was just this enlightenment moment. It's
Love
fun.
it.
Good communication is so great, isn't it?
Oh, it's life-changing. I'm learning a lot about it.
So I know it's time for us to kind of wrap up. I love asking this last question. Do you have a golden nugget? Just some phrase or some thing that you do that you live by that helps you get through your day, get through your life, keep you on track, keep you grounded, whatever it is. Do you have this little golden nugget? And if you do, would you like to share it with us?
Sure. The one that I just like to let whatever comes to mind. I was like, which way is this question going to go? For me, most recently, I'm just trying to have a lot of fun in life again. I feel like I was, doing all this spirit work and a lot of self-development work for the last 5, 6 years. I feel like life started to become like really serious, and I was always trying to, I don't know, do the best and be optimal and reframe and be optimistic. And lately, I'm just really about having fun again. I think that we've forgotten how to have fun and play and just enjoy ourselves. So all of these tools that I do, it's all to help people kind of live more freely and just have fun, not to have to work so hard or think so hard or be so hard on ourselves mostly, and just have a good time again. So yeah, I'm here to tell everyone to have fun again. That's my golden nugget for today.
Play, go
Yes.
play. Laughter
Yes.
heals. All of this is so wonderful. It fits me. I will definitely take it today.
Yay.
Oh my goodness, Marissa, thank you so much for being here and doing this.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for doing the mentorship with me. I've really
It's been
enjoyed the last
amazing.
5 months with you, and I know that we're going to
Yeah.
be working side by side, from here on out. So
Yes, I
thank
love
you.
it. Thank you. It's been such an amazing experience and cool to see all that we've been all women here, but like just to have that group of people and to see how everybody works in these different ways, offering different things is so fun. So thank you.
It's pretty cool. The next group coming up in February is when I'm going to start the second round.
Yeah. So
Because we've got
exciting.
enough requests to do it. There
Wow,
are a lot
amazing
of men
already.
coming forward, so we're going to have a nice blend
I
of,
love that.
yeah,
Yes.
masculine,
Yeah.
feminine energy. Be
Love
fun.
it.
For luminaires out there, thank you very much for showing up, for being curious, for seeking out things. I will remind you, maybe this is the first time you're hearing this today, so I give you permission. Give yourself permission to follow through with what you're attracted to. If
Hmm.
something pings you, if something goes, aha, or you loved what you heard, or your heart opened up, go, okay, this is for me. Take the extra step, click on the link, look at it, research it, see if it really aligns with you. And if it does, give yourself another round of permissions to follow through. This is why we're here on earth. Let's do this. And remember, it's not woo woo. It's true, true. Everything that Marissa does is true, true as well.
I love that phrase.
Tell your mom bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye. Bye, Luminaires.